Hey guys, welcome back to the Outdoor Navigator. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the top 5 considerations when planning a day hike. You're not going to want to miss this, so stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to the Outdoor Navigator. Today we're going to be talking planning a day hike. Now I'm going to give you my top 5 considerations when planning one. If you like content like this, or maybe you're planning a fishing trip, maybe you're planning a camping trip, I don't know. If you're navigating outdoors, you want to subscribe to my channel. So make sure you go down, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell so you can get alerts on all my latest content. Alright, so talking top 5 considerations. Guys, if you're like me, your time is limited. I go to work, I've got honey-do lists, I've got 10,000 things to do. Guys, I just don't have the time to hike the Appalachian Trail. I don't. Someday when I get retired, I hope to, but right now I don't. So what do? I still get outside, but I go on day hikes. Day hikes are trips that you take locally. Maybe it's a hike you take when you're camping or you're glamping or whatever the case may be. It's a hike that's close to you. You don't have a whole lot of time to do it. And it's not a real long hike. So we're about to get into this, so stand by. Top 5 coming. All right, guys. Number 1, how much time do you have? All right, guys, the number 1 consideration, figure out how much time you have. That's what you got to do. You got to look and see, when do I have time to go hiking? That's what makes day hikes so awesome, because you can do those in a day. They're trips that you take, that are local. It may be somewhere close to where you're camping, where you're glamping. Whatever the case may be, these trails are probably within a quick drive, and you can do them in a day. It's not something where you're going to go out there and you're going to be staying overnight. So when I start thinking about time, first thing I do is I go to my calendar. All right, so I hit the calendar and I look. All right, the 29th, I'm looking at the weekend, January 29th, so this coming weekend, and I see that my calendar is clear. So this would be a good time to take a trip. I've got all day long. The next thing that I usually think about is the weather. Is it going to be raining in the morning? It's going to be raining in the evening. What's the weather going to look like? So you can go to one of your weather apps. You can look. So I'm looking at Friday the 28th. Cloudy, high 32s, winds northwest 10-15 miles an hour. Looks like pretty much all day it's just going to be cloudy. So I could go anytime during the day. These are the kind of conditions that I can expect. Next thing that I'm going to consider is where I'm going to go. That tells me how long it's going to take me to get there, how long it's going to take me to go back. I also need to consider what are the trail conditions like up there, because that's going to affect how much time you're on the trail. If you're in real rugged terrain, you may have to take your time. If you're in bad shape, your overall level of fitness, think about that. If there's a lot of elevation, that's going to take you longer, and you want to allow time for that. You don't want to kill yourself, but you want to get out there and you want to check it out. All right, so what we were thinking about doing was taking a trip to the Berea Forest Trails in Berea, Kentucky, the Pinnacle Trails. I don't know if you all have ever been up there. This place is awesome. I mean, some of the best views that you'll ever see. There's 17 miles of trails. And if you look up in the card, there will be a link to a trip that I recently took up there. So you can check it out and get some information all about it. Where to park, how much time it takes to get there, the whole deal. Help you with your planning. All right, so if we look, we can tell there's a lot of hills. And trust me, there are. So you want to plan for that. The conditions are rugged. But anyway, so time. You know, you got to figure out how much time you have to put into the trip. You don't want to rush yourself. You want to go out there and you want to have a good time. This is a time that you want to get out, get some exercise, decompress, and recenter yourself. Leave yourself some time to take pictures. Visit those pictures when you can't get outside, you know, and relive the good times. And hopefully it'll motivate you to get out again. Take some time to enjoy the outdoors and you'll thank yourself. Now, number two. Number two consideration when planning a day hike: do your research. Okay, guys, you know, when I'm talking research, okay, it can be pamphlets. Okay, here's a pamphlet that I got on the Berea Pinnacles. All right, I got that on a hike that I took one time before. You can get contour maps. Okay, contour maps, you'll be able to look at it and see what kind of elevations you're going to have to walk. You can get pamphlets, you know, like this one to the Smoky Mountains. You get in there, you know, it talks about the flora and the fauna and how to get there and cool things to see. You know, there's so many different reading periodicals that you can get to. Smoky Mountain National Park, Bernheim, Shelter We Trace, Red River Gorge. You know, some maps they're made to where they're waterproof, which makes it even better. So, you know, there's plenty of things you can look at, and the internet is always a great place to go. Because once you start clicking links, you just got to go down that rabbit hole and you can get so much information. So we can find another map here, the Pinnacle Trails, okay, shows where we can start. This is where the parking lot is. You know, we can see what kind of elevation we have getting up to all these points. We can go to the Berea website, okay, and they'll tell us a little bit about it. Hey, #1 hike in Kentucky, according to Outside Magazine. So, sounds like it's going to be a pretty good trip. We can find places to shop, places to eat, where to stay, and we can pull up a map. So that one I just showed you a minute ago, we can pull it up on here too. All right, guys, number 3, logistical planning. So what we're talking about here is all those things you got to think about before you take off. You know, what's the weather going to look like? You know, how do I get there? Where do I park? What am I going to take with me to eat? Is there anywhere close I can go when I get done to eat? I don't know. I like to eat, as you can see, but let's take a look here. All right, so logistical planning. All right, so first thing I was telling you about, you know, we want to look at, you know, how we're going to get there. You know, we're going here to the West Pinnacle Trail. So if you get on Google Maps, you can always hit directions from your house and it'll take you to the trail system. All right, so now we know how to get there. All right, like we said in number 1, you may want to look at the weather. So look at the weather forecast, because when it comes to logistical planning, this is going to help you decide what you're going to pack. All right, it's going to be 32 degrees that day and cloudy and northwest wind 11 miles per hour. Cloudy, whenever it's cloudy, it might rain. So you always plan for the rain. And when we get to one of the steps here in the near future, we'll talk about that. So always plan for rain. It's going to be 32 degrees. So that's going to dictate what kind of clothes we're going to wear. You know, it's going to be cold that day. All part of the logistical side of planning. Now, there's one other thing that you need to do, and I'm going to have to show you that. And one of the most important things when you're logistical planning is make sure you have a trail buddy. That's somebody that you take with you who's going to watch over you. He's going to help you out when you're going up a hill, maybe give you a push. If you fall down and get hurt, he's going to render aid. And he may just be somebody to have conversation with and share in the experience. Could be a friend, a son, a wife, a girlfriend, whatever. You know, just somebody you take with you to make the time better. So let's go see if we can find us a trail buddy. You nerd playing the video games, come with me and navigate outside. All right, guys, we're getting close to the end. All right, number 4 thing to consider when planning a day hike is planning what to pack. All right, so let's look at some of the things that I like to take when I go. First thing you see here is the old hiking stick, trekking pole, whatever you want to call it. These things come in handy, so handy, guys. When you're out there, it helps you maintain your balance. It gives you something to help you up that hill when you got to lean on it. If you're crossing a creek, it'll keep you dry. I mean, I used to not hike with these, and now that I finally did, I'll never go back to non-hiking stick hiking. Some people use two. I usually just use one. All right, so you need a where am I tool. All right, that can come in the form of a map. All right, it may just be a printed trail guide of where you're going to go. All right, along with that map, you should always have a good compass. Okay, and in future episodes, we'll talk about using a compass for navigation, but you should always have one of those. And, hey, a GPS always comes in handy. A lot of people, they have their phones with them now, and they can, find that same information, but when you're in the backcountry and you ain't got cell signal, you can still pick up that satellite. So it's always good to have some kind of GPS device with you. All right, multi-tool. Have your multi-tool. Something that, does something other than just cut, but do make sure that it has a knife blade with it. All right, you want to have some kind of light source, just in case something unexpected happens and you get outside and, it gets dark and you can't see. Always remember, test everything. Test all your equipment before you go, because it's not going to do you any good if you get out on the trail and it doesn't work. All right, have you some kind of heat source. All right, whether it's matches, waterproof matches, or a lighter. I like to take extra socks. All right, my time in the Army taught me to take care of my feet. I like to keep my feet dry, and when I'm done hiking, maybe I want to change into some dry socks before I go home. All right, we have a first aid kit. In my first aid kit, I usually just carry bandages, maybe some ointment. You may have a pair of tweezers, so if you get insect bite, bee bite or something, or get you a splinter. Some people have a little bit more extravagant where they'll have gauze. It's up to you. The sky's the limit on that. You can take whatever you want to. All right, self-protection. We get out there and we got bugs, mosquitoes, all those things that want to bite on you. Take you some skeeter juice. Get you some suntan lotion. I don't think we're going to need it this weekend because it's going to be 30 degrees. I don't think we'll get a sunburn. But, if the weather calls for it, take some suntan lotion. Always pack like it's going to rain. So inside this, I have a full waterproof suit, top and bottom. So if it does get raining, I can keep myself dry, keep myself out of the elements. All right, we're going to dress in layers. It's going to be cold this weekend. So look at the weather, and see what the weather is, and that's going to determine what you're going to wear. I like to have a base layer against my skin. Okay, this is something that's that will wick sweat away from me. Okay, and then a layer over top of that to trap that heat inside. And then usually over that, I'll have a jacket. And if I get hot, I can always take layers off. It's going to be cold. I'm going to bring some gloves. Going to bring me a beanie. All right, pack. I'm going to use a pretty small pack. 15 to 20 liter pack should be good enough. I like to have plenty of pockets on it, especially pockets on the side. I can put water bottles in there, Nalgene bottles. Some packs come with a reservoir like this one does. So I can put a water blivet in there and just run the drinking tube out the top. As far as the back, you see this mesh kind of keeps it from getting too hot on me. All right, I got this chest snap to keep it close to me. I can adjust it. And this one here, I don't have them pulled out, but it's even got the waist belt, to keep it close to my body and help distribute the weight. Another thing that I take is a chair. Okay, this is one of those little small packed chairs that doesn't weigh much at all, but sometimes you get out there on the trail, you want to sit down, maybe eat your lunch, take the weight off for a little bit and just look around. And these are real nice to have. And I'll show you what it looks like. Hey, nerd! What are you doing? Are you playing video games again? Yeah. We're getting ready to navigate outside, so you better get off that. You don't plan on wearing those flip-flops, do you?
Yes.
Don't be that guy. Pick up those boots. Now there's what you need when you go hiking. Is some high-top boots that are rugged for the terrain. Alright, when you get those on your feet, you're not going to turn your ankles. Alright, those are waterproof. They're going to keep your feet dry. And they're going to do you a lot more good than those flip-flops will. Alright guys, we're here at the end. Number 5, thing to consider when planning a day hike is always make sure you leave a detailed itinerary with someone. So figure out who that's going to be and send them a message, okay, on your phone. Tell them, where are you going? Okay, where are you going to park at? If you've got specific trails you're going to hike on, tell them that. Tell them when you're going, okay, when you're going to arrive and when you're going to come home. As much information as you can, let somebody know. That way, if something happens to you, they can come find you. Guys, I want to thank you for stopping by again for today's video on the top 5 considerations when planning a day hike. So if you remember, number 1 is time. You got to figure out when you can go. Number 2, do your research. Look at your maps. Figure out how to get there. Look at the weather. Number 3, logistical planning. Get your route down, know where you're going to park, and coordinate with the trail buddy. Number 4, pack for the trip. Okay, in layers, have that base layer, have some good dry socks, and always pack for rain. And number 5, probably the most important, leave a detailed itinerary with somebody telling where you're going to go. Okay, so don't forget those. Hope that you liked what we brought to you today. If you did, make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you look over in the end credits, you'll see a link to the day hike that I did at the Pinnacle Trails. So check it out. And hey guys, we had a great time. Like I always end, I hope to see you, okay, out in the trees or on the water catching a breeze. So get outside and enjoy yourself. Navigate outdoors. Let's see here. Alright, let's see. It says to go this way. There it is.